guys, welcome to the CodeBorn. Eh? Who's CodeBorn? Why am I saying CodeBorn for? What is going on here?
She's not like the other.
Oh, but I hear the things you say. You're such a liar. Such a filthy liar. So
When provoked,
the
girl has powers.
We pushed her too far. And now we've lost her.
She escaped. Your sole purpose is to get her back. Use any means necessary.
The system has failed.
She dangerous?
She's CodeBorn. We're not sure what she's capable of.
Can't control me. The system has failed. This is where my world begins and where your function ends. I'm more than just your program, more than wanting to. I am the virus. 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 I am CodeBorn.
I own my own film and television and commercial work production company. And many years ago, actually, I was a social worker. So my story of like kind of career audibles, Suave Rogaine, and he has worked all over the industry. You can find him, online on IMDb and see all of his different, movies and things that he's um, been the DP for. And so he came in, and then I have a very talented group of people actually here in Vermont that helped me. So
How did that happen, the voice? Did you just apply?
I want to say when I was about 13, I think the age limit was 15 then, but they had reached out and asked me to audition, and I was just too young, and I didn't feel like I was ready. Then it happened again when I was 14, and it was still 15, and I was like, I can't do it yet. And then when I was 16, they reached out one more time, and I was like, you know what? I feel like in this moment of time, I was now age eligible to do it. But I also felt like I could hang with the big dogs, everybody up there that was like been doing music for longer than I've been alive.
Wow.
And I was like, I can do this. I can handle myself in this moment of time. I felt like maturity wise, I was doing really good. School wise, because I still was in high school. I was like, you know what, this is the time. I feel good about it. And the opportunity presented itself, and I auditioned, and honestly, it was one of the best experiences that I think I ever could have had. I met so many incredible.
Yeah, very good afternoon in the UK. This is Raj from the Raj Podcast. I'm sure it's a morning where our author and so much more. She's doing loads of stuff. Jennifer Hoyt, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Yes, it is a lovely morning here in very chilly Vermont.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, it's very chilly here in the UK as well. In West Yorkshire, it's very chilly in the minuses on here as well. Absolutely. We are going to talk a lot about your book, CodeBorn. We're going to talk about that. I know it's released very recently. It's released, and we'll talk about that. But before we do, how did you get into media? How were you always interested growing up in media?
Yeah, so I used to own my own film and television and commercial work production company. And many years ago, actually, I was a social worker. So my story of like kind of career audibles, if you will, began when I had my children. And I was looking for something to just kind of get out of the house and have a little something to take adult breaks. And one of my good friends said, come join us on this film project. And I was like, oh, I don't really know anything about that. And he said, well, you're a
Hmm.
caseworker, aren't you? And I said, I am. And he said, well, this is case management for film. That's all producing is. And so that kind of opened the door for me to start plugging in different pieces for media. And yeah, it took off from there. And then eventually, that became something that I did full time.
Wow. And was it always you did lots of stuff, haven't you? You done lots of stuff. Were you an owner of a media production company, if I'm not wrong?
That's a great question. I actually, so I used to own Velocity Media, and that was a production company. And then I consulted with a couple of different ones, Fuller Production, and we did a lot of different types of projects. Some online series for PBS called Innovate, different film projects for a myriad of different creators, everything from hidden blueprints. We helped produce a film festival. Well, actually, it was a television festival here in Vermont. Hollywood brought the bright lights to a little town here in Manchester, and we held a series contest, I guess you would say, or film contest for um, different creators. And let's see, what else? Are you looking for different project names? So you could find some of my work on Twisted Twin, which is a Lifetime movie. Soulmates was filmed here in Vermont. That's on a myriad of different streaming platforms. Um,
Hmm.
Lots of different commercial things that I've been a part of.
Yeah, and how long did you do that, and when did you decide, okay, now I'm going to do something else now, on my own?
So I've always loved to write, but I think my writing took form in the shape of, originally case plans and things like that in the social work world. And then, getting into the whole film and television arena, um, the storytelling took shape in visual storytelling and scripts. And so, the production company was opened. I'm not exactly sure of the years. You're testing me on something that I don't have
Yeah,
the date in my
sure.
mind, but we did close Velocity Media with the advent of COVID. So that kind of
Oh, right, right.
everything that kind of happened with that,
Yeah.
it just became something that there wasn't a lot of work and it didn't make sense with my family any longer. And so um, COVID hit and we closed that. And then I started to focus more full time on what I would consider my true passion, which is writing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I mean, COVID, it did hit us all at that time, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah, why not? Yeah, absolutely. Because like you said, you were always interested in the media, and maybe it was the right time, to explore something else in your passion, which, like you said, was writing. So this is obviously your first or original book, isn't it? Would that be right?
Yes, this is my debut novel. It
You
came
did.
out December 24th. And yeah, I've been really blessed. It's been doing well, so that's good.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer. I've been watching the trailer as well today. Um, and I watched the
Well, the nice
trailer.
part of having worked in the media world is some really talented friends that helped me put that together. And of course, it stars my daughter, as does the cover. So the cover of my book is actually Maylee. Maylee is just newly 20. And a lot of people ask me if I created the book for Maylee, and the answer to that question is no, because when I was doing all of my film and television work, I was also kind of writing on the side. So this story
Yeah,
idea
yeah,
began many, many years ago, but I just didn't really take myself seriously as a writer at that time, so it kind of got shelved. And so it was kind of a happy accident that by the time, I was ready to publish the book, she was old enough to play the character. So
yeah. First of all, shout out to her. She's done a remarkable job in the trailer. because yeah, I was really impressed the way she's done it. And she looks very believable. You know, the character in the trailer, she looks very believable in that. So that was really, really good. That was. That's why I thought I've not seen many book trailers. This is probably the first book trailer I've seen in a long time. I'll be honest. But
Become a thing.
yeah,
I'm
it's
not
really
actually.
good.
I know my background lends to that, but book trailers have really become sort of the avant-garde way to push your book these days. So there's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah, do you think regarding, we'll talk more about your book in a moment, but do you think book trailers, do you think that because authors before they used to be able to, get their books physically in bookstores a lot around, where they were, US, UK, everywhere, but because now it's just ebooks mainly everywhere, do you think trailers are more important? You have to have a trailer now.
I think they are super instrumental in that, as we have all of this media at our fingertips all the time, I think it's difficult for people to sort of move toward reading. I would say that there's still a voracious, reader population at this point that really still likes to read, but also, our younger generation is very attached to media. And so visual storytelling is a nice segue to getting somebody interested in your work. And I think most, writers know it's not enough to write a good book if nobody knows about it. So it's a great way to help people understand and kind of connect with your material and get a sense of what your story is about.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, there's a company. Obviously, you've heard of it, Audible, um, and yeah, and I think that's where um, they play a big part in getting people more interested, the younger generation in books. To having the audio of the book, and then feeling the characters, but not like watching it, but look just the audio of it. I think they're quite famous as well these days. Uh,
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's definitely something that we've thought about for my book, which is would we get, an audio rendering of the book?
so is your book going to be available or on the audio as well?
Um, right now I am very focused on book number two. And so
Oh
until
wow.
we have a little bit more traction with book number one, it is our goal to create an audiobook though. Yes.
Okay, and obviously, as you can see, the link is there. The link is showing on there. Jennifer's put it there clearly, so you cannot miss it. We'll put it in the description as well. So obviously, it's artificialbloodlines.com. Check it out on there. It's available on all good stores, including Amazon, the famous Amazon everywhere. And do check it out, and do check the trailer as well of the book, which uh, you would have seen. We have played it, and it's on the link on the description of the chat as well, and it'll be available on all the social media as well on there. So yeah, absolutely. And it just even the cover of the book is so appealing, to be honest. Even for someone who isn't uh, I would say myself as not a someone who's got so much time to read a book, but even it inspires me to see what is this about, this book, to be honest, because I think if your cover is really good, I think you've already done a quite maybe a quarter percentage of the work already, because you've appealed it to the people, if your cover is exactly right. Um, I think you've done that on this cover. The cover is really appealing um, to the
On my
audience.
social media, I do a lot of going sort of behind the scenes with the cover because it was actually a process to build. It's a compilation. So we started with a mock-up for the cover, and then actually my publishing company generally does the covers for all of the books. But because my husband and I have a background in media, my husband felt like nobody could create a better cover than he could create. And so he, and I was kind of like split and divided, which direction, would I go? And then he presented me with a mock-up and I was absolutely blown away. And then the whole trick was to take that mock-up and then use my daughter Maylee to become that character. And so I have a whole bunch of different like green screen takes that we've done, and some really funny thing because the way that her hair flares out on the side was really like we tried fans and we tried lifting it and dropping it and using like a really fast shutter speed. And so that was a lot of fun. The cover was actually a super fun process to make.
Whose idea was it for that trailer where those people are standing and she's walking up, and then all of that? Was that your idea, or was it like a whole team effort there?
So I actually wrote the script, and then I flew in a friend of mine from Los Angeles who is his name is Ferguson Suave Rogaine, and he has worked all over the industry. You can find him, online on IMDb and see all of his different, movies and things that he's um, been the DP for. And so he came in, and then I have a very talented group of people actually here in Vermont that helped me. So um, my good friend Cal, who played kind of one of the agents, another friend of mine, Christian Cohn, who played the sort of big director guy in the chair. A lot of there's a lot of film magic that's happening in that. We haven't released the trailer that has the artificial womb, but
Mm,
that's actually on my social media as well. We did
okay.
basically a baby in a tank with all of these
Wow.
different tubes coming off of it. So it's like a dollar store baby, actually. But when you use film and the camera and different angles and lighting, it sells the idea. And so there's a ton of different things that were super fun. In that, when you look at the trailer, you'll see all the guys that are standing there. And then, she has that moment of like taking control of the situation because she's CodeBorn and walking past them, and there's nothing they can do about it. Well, there's guys behind her and there's guys in front of her. And the way that we did that is that it's the same guys, it's just a different angle and soft focus. And so it kind of looks a whole lot bigger and like there's more people than if, so we didn't have quite as many people on set as it appears that we did. So there's lots of fun,
All
tricks,
right.
film
Okay.
tricks.
If you didn't say that, I wouldn't have noticed, to be honest, because
Now I'm giving away all
because
the
it looks
secrets.
like there's like loads of people standing there at the back. Um, yeah, that's a good thing, guys. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. On that, but yeah, it is well done actually. I mean, on the trailer itself. I mean, because you want to get an impact on the trailer. So when people look at the trailer and they go, yeah, this looks like a really good book, to be to read. Which you've actually done there. And how did the idea of this character, did you like, were you thinking about something else and this idea popped up, or how did it pop up, this idea?
Years ago, actually, my mother-in-law brought home a medical journal from a hospital that she was working at. And, I was kind of a tired mom sipping my coffee, and I, picked up this journal and I started to thumb through it. And there was this whole article about artificial wombs and how they were studying how to, engineer life outside of the body. And I was like, oh, that is such an interesting thing. And that kind of created a cascade of questions, in my brain, which was like, well, what if this girl didn't know she was, or this baby didn't know they were more a science project than like a real girl? And what if there was like a nefarious agency that was, wanting their prototype back? And, it just created a whole bunch of different what ifs that then, I was like, actually, that's
Right,
kind of fun. I think I'm gonna, try and render this story. And, I began kind of writing it. And then, like I said, I shelved it for, lengths of
right.
time, just becoming busy mom, busy with my career. And then, again, with the advent of COVID, I kind of switched roles and decided, yeah, I'm going to swing for the fences with this.
Hmm. Okay. Wow. Okay. That
I
is
think the book, oh, sorry.
no, sorry, gone. Sorry, gone.
I think the book asks some, or at least the attempt, in writing this book is, not only sort of like a YA sci-fi thriller, so lots of, twists and turns and action, but hopefully it also, begins to initiate some conversations about, a larger topic, kind of thinking beyond the pages as to, our world and technology, and where does the crossroads, what are the things that, first of all, is technology going to remain our servant or is it going to become our master? And, when I say that, I mean, technology is everywhere now. I mean, we're using AI, and of course, this is a very heavily leaning into, AI and what it could become and how it could be utilized in this, government program to create these babies and genetically modify them. And then it takes on a life of its own and it becomes kind of the master, and there's a fight against that. So, like, how much of that runs parallel though? Like, we're all using AI and we think it's great, and it's, chat
Right.
GPT helping us,
Hmm.
create promos and do all of these things. But is there any reality to that? Also, simultaneously on my social media, I see all of these things that pop up. If your child has been negatively impacted by social media, here's a lawsuit you can jump on. If their
Yeah.
gaming is impacting them negatively, like Roblox and this, that, and the other thing, here's another lawsuit that you can jump on. So, are there benefits, and do the benefits, outweigh the um, the bumps in the road, if you will, or are there some significant, red flags that we should be thinking about as a society? Where do we draw those lines? How does it blur, you know, technology and human, and are there lines that we shouldn't cross? What do you think?
Hmm. That's a good question, actually. Yeah, absolutely. What you said there, actually, I was going to ask you about AI as well, because obviously, even for loads of businesses, AI, like you said, they're using AI now, rather than web chatters at the front line. They're using AI more and more now. On that. But do you think there is a, because there's lots of stuff happening where sometimes there are videos being made of people saying this and saying that, and afterwards they find out AI, somebody's made it with AI and that kind of stuff. So do you think there's a human cost to AI and regarding AI technology, or do you think there is a human cost, but AI is still we're still better off with AI?
That is a great question, and I think it's the question that we should all be asking ourselves. I think that AI is a great tool, and it does, help in a lot of different ways. But I think as it grows more powerful, I think as we, potentially rely upon it more, I think it can have a negative and adverse impact on humanity. And I think that, um, you know, how rapidly we're moving toward um, I wouldn't be surprised, if AI begins, to be consulted for things like world affairs. I think
Mm.
that we are doing more to
how to do
realize in
certain
the industry.
things.
And
And
of
of
course,
course,
I
I
would
would
also
also
say,
say,
with Sora
again,
and
all
is it
of these
servant, and
different,
at what point
again,
does it become
AIs that are
master?
coming out.
I think technology in general controls us a lot more than we realize. Like, how many hours do you spend on your phone? For instance, another for instance is, more than you touch your spouse, your children, or any other person in your life, you're going to hold your phone. Like, it's
Right.
a simple thing to say, but take a step back and think about the fact that more than you're ever going to have human contact, you're going to hold in your hand technology.
Right. That is a very good that's true actually, yeah. So I mean a lot of new generation, I guess they'll be using more AI, I guess. Um and on there, so they would have that human the human touch, like maybe my generation and other generations have had, to be honest, with that. But do you think we need to have more laws on AI to protect ourselves?
I think, like anything else, I think the simple answer is yes. I think, like anything else, we're on a learning curve. I hope that, you know, I guess I hope that we continue to not make life so easy and cheapen. We want everybody wants to automate everything with AI for their businesses, for your chat bots on your screens.
Yeah,
Um, any but sometimes it's like anything else in life, you make things too easy, and then, what happens is maybe we have more free time, or maybe, we don't have to work as hard, but then we're not as smart, we're not as dedicated, we're not as driven, we don't know how to solve the problems that something else is solving for us. So if that doesn't work at some point, then where does that leave us? Where does that leave the next generation? And I think those are really important questions to ask.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want to get into that where, there's lawsuits in the US, there's lawsuits, there's these kind of stuff happening in the UK everywhere, and you don't believe any video anymore. You think this could be AI as well, edited. Um, you don't want
You're
that to
wrong. I'm
be,
not against AI. I'm not
yeah.
saying that I certainly wouldn't want anyone to like walk away from this. I think it's super fascinating where technology,
Mm,
and humanity intersect. I think is
yeah.
a just a fun thought to pursue and to explore. And I think that, we should be having more conversations. This should be talked about. What do we think this impact is going to be, on society and on our lives? And yes, there are many ways that it's going to benefit us. And then are there ways that it's going to negatively impact? And then what should we do about those things?
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And considering UK, US, they're spending a lot of money on AI. They're really spending a lot of money on AI technology. So yeah, absolutely, we do need to be protected. And what about women in breaking barriers in the media? Do you think there's enough women in the media now, or do you think more needs to be done to make it more of a equal playing field?
Excuse me. I think that's a great question. I think, historically, I think women have come a long way. And I think
Mm,
that we are doing more to realize in the industry. And of course, I would also say, with Sora and all of these different, again, AI that are coming out, is there going to be an industry to be a part of?
yeah.
Or, for example, a lot of the videos, we're talking about book trailers before, and are they important and should you use them? Well, there's tons of tools out there, Hypernatural, what is the world one? I'm not end end journey, something journey. Why am I not thinking of it? But anyways, there's all these different tools that you can create, basically pump it a script, and it will give you a bunch of images that it comes up with. Um, so you're asking about women in film, and who knows? Will there be jobs left? Right now, it's absolutely revolutionizing our industry. There are studios that were supposed to be built that are no longer being built because they're recognizing the fact that AI is becoming so powerful. Why do all of these things the way that we've historically done them in the industry? There's a lot of complaints about long hours and, sometimes film
Mm,
sets going 16 hours and burnout and people that are not safe. Um, and now we have these new systems that can create these worlds and characters, and they look real. And so, that takes away jobs and it impacts us, differently. So, it's a hard question to answer because I don't know where the industry is moving. Would I love to see more women? Absolutely. Do I think that historically women were given, small parts or not as powerful as men? Do I feel like sometimes uh, women are paid at a scale that's different than men? All of those things are
yeah.
absolutely, true, and I would love to see more women in the industry. The larger question, I think,
Yeah.
though, is where's the industry going? And is that
Mm.
even, a problem depending on where technology takes us?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely spot on. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In the next 5, 10 years, who knows where we're going to be heading with AI? There could be lots of less of a workforce in every sector, to be honest. So yeah, exactly. That's a very good, valid question on there. But yeah, I mean, you said we'll just talk about, obviously you said you were working on another book. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. But obviously, yeah, I know we are running about a little bit of a time as well. We're running a bit out on that because of this lovely conversation. But uh, but yeah, now for people who don't know that much about yourself, obviously it's your first book. Tell us what, without giving too much away, what can they expect from this book?
Excuse me. Well, um, CodeBorn follows the story of Izzy Fallman, who is part human, part code, and all teenage girl. She does not know that she is more a science project than real girl, and her whole life is thrown into chaos after her, who she believes are her, eccentric but loving parents, are murdered, and the agency that created her pulls her back in and begins to test her harshly for her abilities. And so kind of like a MK Ultra-esque vibe. And then she wields a little bit of her latent ability, and that provides her the opportunity to escape. So this is the first book. And then a whole bunch of things happen that I don't want to give spoilers for,
Yeah.
but the Artificial Bloodline series, the next book or iteration, is going to land her in an absolute heap of trouble as deep state secrets emerge. She begins to find out a little bit more about herself. There's a love and romance, even a little bit of a love triangle that emerges, a bunch of different relationship and kind of dystopian elements that are woven into the story. And it's pretty much going to flip everything that's happened in the first book on its head. So you'll have to buckle up.
Oh, sounds very exciting. But yeah, I mean, so is continuing from the first book? Is it like
Yes.
a
It's a
right?
series. Yep.
Wow.
If you like Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi, or you like Scott Westerfield's The Uglies, this is a book that you're going to want to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. Do check it out. Like I said, do check the website out as well, artificialbloodlines.com. Also, if Jennifer is available on social media as well, do check her out. Her links we'll put the links on the description. On the website is the links available on there as well. And also, obviously, you can view the trailer as well, and the link is going to be on the description as well. So do check it out, and do purchase the book, because it's going to be a very exciting ride. And do check it out on Amazon, everywhere, all the good places is available now. And do let Jennifer know your feedback as well on the book as well, because I'm sure she'll be yeah, anticipate the feedback on that. I know we're running out of time, I've been told. So yeah, with these few minutes, so is this so where the second book is going to be where Easy is her journey, which is continuing from the first book, yeah?
Yeah.
Am I right in saying she's going to continue, right? Right. Okay. And is there any plan on when this book will be released? Will be released this year?
Yes. My plan is before year end.
Ah,
First
great.
book was the 24th of December, and I'm hopeful that it will be late fall. I don't have a release date as I'm still working with everyone surrounding the second book, but my hope is before the year ends. Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and do stay tuned for that as well, because it will be coming out, and obviously we will make sure that we do inform everyone when the book comes out, and we will try to get Jennifer back on for that as well. On the Jennifer, first of all, it's an honor to have you on, and thank you first of all very much for coming and taking out your
Here.
Friday mornings with us on here. And yes, and do check it out. Like I said, her book is there. The links are all on the description and on there. So artificialbluelines.com, and she's available on all good social media as well on there. So thank you very much, Jennifer, and wishing you lots of success for this book.
Thank you. Wishing you luck as well. This is super fun. I enjoyed hanging out, talking about it.